Welcome to the Wake Up Call podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet.
And I'm your co-host today, Captain Ryan Van Fleet.
Well, you're kind of my normal co-host on this podcast go forward. However, I have had some thoughts lately to just jump on the mic and record a podcast, but then I end up putting it into my new Patreon community called Conscious Convergence. So we'll see. I may bounce back and forth a little bit, but here we are today, and I'm super excited to speak with you.
Yes.
We've had a really awesome 2 weeks, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say so. It's been very good, actually.
It's a kick off to the new year.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the educational part of the business is awesome. I really enjoy it. Like any other business, it has its challenges as well. Nothing's perfect. So that's been a journey for me to realize that nothing's perfect.
I think that's a journey for everyone.
Everybody, yes.
And when you think about that consciously, it goes into expectations, right?
Right.
And if you think about that and do a deep dive on that, and one of my favorite questions to always ask myself is, what is this showing me? So if you ask yourself that with pretty much everything that comes across your path in life, you will then likely see that it either goes back to fear and lack or some type of self-worth piece that you're not loving yourself enough. And that's kind of something we talked about in the last podcast when we talked about Eddie Murphy, right?
Right. 1000%.
Mm-hmm. So what is this showing me? Important question to have embodied and ask yourself on a daily basis. So
Yes.
Yeah. So we are in the middle of a launch, actually.
Yeah, super stoked. We're collaborating with BD Outdoors and SatFish on our next course. It's been a couple years in the making, so super excited to collaborate, especially working with somebody that has background in oceanography, actually has the background in oceanography. We all want to think that we're oceanographers in this business, but really we're not. So we all guesstimate and we get a lot of information from guys that we're going to have on the in the course. Dr. Jeffrey Barr.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and what a nice guy too. Super cool.
Super nice guy. Super nice. So super excited.
Mm-hmm. So what I love about this, because if you know me, I'm not really into fishing. Like I manifested a guy with a hobby, and here I am. The universe delivered. I love hanging out with Ryan and when he's fishing, but I'd rather take pictures and videos and just be present versus reeling in the fish. So it's kind of been a fun journey to understand that. And I admire all the female anglers and outdoors women out there that really are into it, but that's not me. I'd rather be behind the scenes. So anyhow, in that, Ryan discovered SatFish like in 2022. And it's been such a fun journey for me to watch this unfold with, number one, finding it, then becoming an affiliate, and then, really being involved with that in terms of promoting it, using it, not only in our charters, but in our courses and in our communities on a regular basis, writing blogs for our website, his website, however you want to put it, goodkarmasportfishing.com, and also for SatFish. So it's been an incredible journey to see that. And where I want to go with this is, as an entrepreneur, again, we think everything's going to happen overnight.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Does not.
It's all like an unfolding.
Yep.
Step by step. And sometimes those things take time, right?
Yes, they do.
They take time.
Yep.
So last January, February, about this time, Nate from BD Outdoors, he came down to the Keys, super great guy. We had an awesome meeting with him at Tavernier Creek Marina. They shared where, some of their ideas were and where he was hoping to do some work. And, time goes by really fast and people are busy and plates get full. And so nothing really happened on that lens. But then Ryan was thinking about, what's my next course? This was a couple weeks ago now, so flash forward. And he was going to do a mutton snapper. And then he's like, I don't know. I think I want to do this.
Yep. I'd been thinking about it for quite some time. I get a lot of questions from people And really, it's just a lot of interpretation that you see on these charts, and everybody has an opinion. So I really wanted to bring somebody in, and it was like, as far as doing a collaboration, and I was like, it's I'm gonna reach out to SatFish and see if they want to collaborate on this. So I reached out to directly to Jeff and he was more than like happy to do something, and really wants to educate anglers how to use the app and what to look for. So there's a lot that goes on out there in the ocean, and one of it's just learning how to read the water, and it's just more than what you even think it is. And that was one of the things that I just have always kept in my brain, ever since I had like, it just goes way back to when I was first starting out as a guide, and I had reached out to Jose Wahabi when he was still alive, and when I first was getting into the charter boat business, and I was a like very young guide, and it was very challenging. I'm not going to go into that as far as the breaking in, as far as sharing knowledge and all that stuff in the industry. But Jose, I reached out to him through Facebook actually, and him and I messaged back and forth, and he said he was going to be at an event down in Key West, and
Yeah.
at the where was that? What's the fly shop
Oh
down there?
gosh, it's right on the water
Yeah,
by
it's
where the
Tony's
cruise ships
place.
are. And that guy who owns that, gosh, he's
Isn't it Tony?
super nice too. He bought things from me as a sales rep many, many times over the
Yeah,
years.
it's a fly shop.
Yeah, I forget his
I think
name,
it's
but super nice guy.
yeah. So um
And they were
so
good friends. I think they were like
yeah,
best friends.
they're very close, and we went down and we had a meet and greet, and it wasn't even a meet and greet. It was just like a fly. It was just like getting together for happy hour.
Yeah.
And Jose took some time. At that time, he was at his peak, and as far as the media goes and the show, and we went outside, we drank beer, and he said to me two things. He said logbook and learning how to read the water. And when I was like learning how to read the water, and at first I was like, and then those were codes and nuggets,
Huge tips. Yeah.
like nuggets and codes. And then further on in my career, I worked with some flats guides that were, they've been doing it a long time, and 20-year guys, and they're like, read the water, read the water, read the water. And they're not going to share, like, you're talking about guys that, these guys aren't going to share things, but they're going to give you codes. And that's kind of where I pick up at where I'm at today. There's codes that I drop, and the reason why they do that is that they don't want to deprive you from being they don't want to take that joy away from you discovering stuff, because that's the joy that they got. And over the years I just kind of learned that, and the more I learned what was all that was all about, I was like, that's it, man. It's like, man, when you make a find or you learn something, that's like a huge win for an angler.
Mm-hmm.
For an angler that's truly in it. Truly in it. Now there's another type of angler, that's like, I'm gonna do, so there's a couple different ways you can look at it. But we're all a little different and wired a little different. But the legends were wired to that way.
Yeah.
So
Gosh, it's so true.
and they were codes. And it took me a long time to figure that out. It's like, man, he wasn't gonna tell me shit, but he gave me two codes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of like kept those in the back of my mind, and I would see something, I would write it down, and I was like, oh, I need to get a better log. I need to take it to another level. So I generated different types of like what I would say gadgets that I could take better notes with, and tools, and yeah, and I just took it from there, and it's really helped. So it's never over. It's never done, which is what's so fun about this whole sport, and it's really worked at healing me as an individual when I let it. So that's another part of it. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So all of this goes into consciousness. All of this goes into consciousness. Ryan could have listened to Jose and been like, oh yeah, whatever, dude. And walked away, been pissed off, been disgruntled, been like, oh, he didn't share with me enough. Right. And that's unfortunately an epidemic that's going on out there, and kind of what Ryan's referring to covertly. I'll be more direct. He's being nicer. I'm more direct.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it, right? So fishing is like life. Like sometimes you're gonna catch them, and sometimes you're not, and you have to stick it out. And be patient and try new things and see where the journey takes you. It's the same thing as life. They run parallel, and lots of different sports and hobbies and things run parallel, right? Planting and gardening, which is something I'm into, runs parallel. So you have to be conscious though of that. And he was extremely conscious of like, oh, he's just telling me it's something, a little nug here, a code, and what can I do with it, right? And then years later it unfolds where he finds SatFish and learns like the water, like through this amazing platform app, and really starts getting more and more dialed in
Yeah, it
and really
was
perfecting the craft of fishing.
exactly. So after we met Jose, we took our last dime. We'd spent our last dime to buy Good Karma.
Yeah.
So I remember being at a boat show and seeing something that was like SatFish for the very first time, because all that stuff is relatively this stuff is relatively new but old at the same time with the
It's so
technology.
crazy, right?
And everything just gets like all these different things just get like twisted around and repurposed. But I was at the boat show. I remember talking to the individual that owned the company, and he was showing me all the colors and like from the satellite, and it's just did something to my brain. And I was like, man, I really want this. And I just couldn't. I honestly, I didn't have the money to even think about that. We had to scrape up money just to get to the boat show and afford to buy a hot dog and a beer. But I look back on all this stuff and I was like, I seen that, and I was like, I just was putting two together. It's like learning how to read the water. There's all these like codes out there as far as finding shrimp boats, as far as finding like all this stuff out there, and it's all there and right in front of you. Um, so as far as how things move and spots and all this stuff, it's all there. It's all out there in front of you. It's just about putting the codes together, and that's what I really enjoy the most.
Mm-hmm.
So the fish are just the bonus of everything, of putting everything together, and then at the end result. So that's honestly, I like, that's the kind of the way I look at it. So
Yep. So the more you are conscious to the energy behind the thing you're doing. So even if you're listening to this podcast and you're not into fishing, again, this is relatable to something you may be into. Again, I'm into gardening. I'm not into fishing. So I am just hyper aware, conscious of all these energetics that go into the journey of all of this, and that ultimately leads to success over time, over time, over time, over time. So something that's really cool that came to me a few days ago, and it was like, and I feel like I always get this vision in my third eye of like Legos and dominoes together. And I'm gonna like trademark that. So Legos and dominoes like together, and that's convergence, right? When everything kind of like meets. And what it came to me when I was working on graphics for this launch, and I help Ryan a lot with all the social media. We work on things in conjunction with each other, and I saw the charts, and I was like, one of the huge reasons why we wanted to move somewhere where it never ever snowed, which is our story, was for color. We wanted to see green grass and green trees all the time. And I've written about this, I've podcasted about this, like it is part of the whole manifestation prayer that I didn't even know what I was doing back then when we lived in Minneapolis. So this was like 2006, 7, 8, before we moved here. And I intuitively would like lay with Ryan on the bed and try to help him through his anxiety and depression and play the sound machine. And I created like these visualizations of us moving somewhere. And I wasn't taught any of this. This was all intuitively led by, you can say God, you can say angels, whatever makes you comfortable and you believe in, right? So it doesn't matter. And I would create these scenarios, and it always went back to color, because when you live somewhere north and you have to deal with the seasons, seasons can be beautiful and fresh snow is gorgeous, but 2 days later, let's be honest, in most parts of the country, it's gross looking, right? And that does something to a vast majority of us humans. And I was always kind of affected, but Ryan was very affected. And Minnesota is a rough place to live. It's negative degrees like more than a third of the year. And it's gray and gloomy, and to see cement and trees with no leaves. So this was like a big part of my activations and how I would coach Ryan, let's say, to help him feel better and get through the day and have something positive to look forward to. And then voila, here we are in 2009. So is when we moved here, October 2009. So anyhow, where I'm going with this is it dawned on me that the colors in SatFish and how my husband was always looking at SatFish. Like 2 o'clock in the morning, he'd be looking at SatFish. 6 o'clock in the morning is SatFish. I'd pop in his office during the day. He's looking at SatFish. He's always like looking at the screens, and days he couldn't fish and days where the weather's bad. And I was like, oh my God. And it clicked. Conscious convergence. It totally clicked that SatFish also provided this other level of, like, let's say mental health awareness, let's say peace, let's say happiness, let's say joy, whatever you feel attached to saying, for my husband. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. So I like totally flipped out yesterday morning, like had this huge aha moment. And I asked my husband, I said, write a blog about this, because this not only helps people that fish, SatFish, but also just the concept of colors is helpful to the world, is really helpful to anyone that's struggling on this level.
Yep. Yeah. So I sat down and wrote the blog yesterday.
Which made me cry, by the way.
And I was just, it's just been such a journey, and a lot of stuff I was just afraid, in this world nowadays, you're afraid to say anything. And I was like, I've had I could write a book on some of the, stuff. And so can everybody else. And everybody's trying to be something that they're really not nowadays. It's like you're trying to hide who you are in front of social media, and that's not really the person you are. You're editing out swear words. It's just like something that, it's just really, and it's always been like that with cussing and stuff. But hey, we all do our best. Even I've done my best over the course of the years to tone my language down the older I got. So, but I'm not going to quit being who I am with that. So I looked at that and I was like, I'm just going to tell a little story along the way here. I've had some great memories fishing over there, and some crazy crap that's happened to me. And now I see all this stuff out on social media about urban fishing and all this stuff. I go, listen, man. I go, we all have been like we've done some crazy stuff out there. So I tell some stories that you're gonna laugh about. One of them, I remember I used to live downtown, or not downtown. I used to live in the suburbs of Chicago after college, and I used to go down to the river systems there outside in the suburbs and fish. And some of the areas that I fished in were like, you guys would like, whoa, what the hell? So I've been in areas where I remember one time I was catfishing alongside the river, and this guy came down, started fishing next to me, and next thing you know, we're at a strip club, and the guy turns out to be a pimp. And I was so enrolled in just having somebody to talk to about fishing, because at that time, there was nobody. You didn't have communities. You didn't have the networks. There was nothing, and nobody even talked about it. And you didn't fish with anybody from work because nobody fished, and everybody looked down upon you. And I just went to the rivers. I met people, and I met some crazy people. Some people I shouldn't have talked about, like I shouldn't have had conversations with. But it was like, you didn't know. And I met some, that pimp guy was a cool dude. And next thing you know, I'm like, it's like 10 o'clock, well into the happy hour, and I was in a place I shouldn't have been, and I was like, oh, I need to get the hell out of here. So I tell that story in there.
Yeah, you give lots of amazing shout outs.
Yeah.
So Ryan has me like read any blogs just for like typos and grammatical or, something like that. So anyhow, so he texts me when I'm at the library yesterday working on my new science fiction book, and I'm reading this and I'm like bawling my eyes out in the middle of the library. So I really want everyone to read this blog. It'll be linked in the show notes. It's truly incredible. It's on another level in terms of really shedding awareness and just authentically, we all have these crazy stories, and so many times you think it's something bad that's happened to you, and we shove it down into our nervous systems instead of just really like understanding, appreciating that it's a journey and seeing things from a new lens. And that's like really what we were aiming to accomplish with that, which is consciousness, like seeing how our journeys can be viewed from a different lens, like a more positive lens.
Yeah. Yeah. And
More
it's
positive
just,
lens.
fishing's just so much fun. I see, so I would be like, and there, I talk about, sometimes I thought I was just getting to be an old man because I didn't like what I was seeing. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to be an old man. It's just how I've always been wired.
Yeah. I
It's
don't
just,
think you're old, man. I don't consider
yeah,
myself.
it's
Well, I'm
like,
older
oh,
than
he's a
you.
grouchy old man. And I was like, no, dude, I just like I'm very picky about the content that I like. I've always been like that since I was a kid, and I share the story why. So in the blog.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's an amazing blog, and we really hope that, again, that people read it. We appreciate you listening to this podcast. Please share this podcast. We're doing these things like for a bigger purpose. Fishing is my husband's passion and hobby, as I've stated earlier in the podcast. But he fished for mental health reasons, to clear his mind, to feel better, to relax. Life is stressful, jobs are stressful. Put on the news and you'll easily get stressed out. Um, what can you do in your life that helps you, right? So whether it's fishing, gardening, like my passion is, playing a game, knitting, there's so many things out there. Just cleaning your house is a great mundane task that clears your mind. So there's so many things out there. So we really hope that our messages and what we share is going to be expansive outside of just fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Fishing is amazing. We're grateful for the sport. We're grateful for our lane. We're grateful for our business. So grateful for the collaborators and the people involved. And there's so many people, oh my gosh, it's gonna make me cry, that have been helpful to us in this journey and still are helpful to this day. And you know who you are, and we love you, and we're so grateful for you. And we just want this to be more of an expansive piece of the journey, and people really understand the energy that was behind us doing this from the get-go. From the get-go, the energy and the concept and the vision I had from the get-go was about having freedom from the mind, and freedom from the mind is everything. So when you understand that and you have the consciousness around it and you use your intuitive gifts to get to a better place, like you will see your world change, because everything changes from the inside first before you see it change in the 3D.
Yes, that's 1,000% correct.
So,
yep.
So I feel complete. Do you feel complete?
Yep, I feel complete.
Awesome. So if you wish to work with me, I take one-on-one clients, or you can join my Patreon community called Conscious Conversions. There's, I think, 30 pieces of content in there right now. Some is free, some is paid, small ticket. There's blogs, audio, videos. Ryan also has a Patreon, same type of thing, free and small ticket. You can work with either of us one-on-one, plus all the fishing communities and things we have. We have a lot. As Fred, who we love and adore, said to me yesterday, you guys are juggling a lot of content. Yes, we are. We love you, Fred. Thank you. We're appreciative of you for sure. So, we have a lot to offer because we understand that people have their own ways that they like to consume things. So we wish to be able to be expansive in that way too and grow. So we appreciate you sharing. We appreciate you referring us and connecting with us on some type of level.
Yeah, 1,000%.
We'll put all that in the show notes.
Yes. And you can, if you're interested in working with me, you can email me at goodkarmaryan@gmail.com.
And always know that Ryan loves the fishing charter.
Yeah.
So between the Good Karma and the Inala Sewer, there are two amazing options, and you can check out our website, goodkarmasportfishing.com, for all of that information as well.
That's it. Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Okay.
And yeah.
Thank you for being here.
And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.